Coming up on Nuestra Voz Today, cruising down Highland Avenue in National City. It's been against the law for nearly 3 decades.
At first I was trying to do it on my own. It was really stressful. And somebody suggested, hey, you need backup.
We'll show you how members of the lowrider community are fighting to revive a National City tradition.
Plus, a flashback to 1981, how Fernando Valenzuela became a star pitcher and changed the image of the Dodgers for many Latinos.
Also, he had big dreams as a kid growing up in El Salvador.
I want to work for Mickey Mouse. I want to be an animator.
Today, Jose Celaya is the only native Salvadoran graphic artist and character designer working for Disney Television Animation.
And we'll introduce you to some die-hard Padres fans. What chain of events led them to name their son after All-Star Fernando Tatis Jr.? Hello everyone, hola. I'm Paola Hernandez-Jiao.
And I'm Luis Cruz. Thank you for joining us for another Hispanic Heritage Month edition of Nuestra Voz Today, presented by the San Diego Union-Tribune and the Los Angeles Times.
We are at National City's Kimball Park. 2 years ago, this was the site of the first lowrider car show in the city. For many who attended, this event was reminiscent of the days when they used to cruise down Highland Avenue for fun.
Lowriding is a source of pride for many, a way to show off their creativity and their love for cars. But city officials banned it in the early 90s because they said it led to crime and traffic congestion. Nearly 3 decades later, a group of women are leading the charge to make cruising on Highland Avenue legal again. San Diego Union-Tribune photojournalist Ana Ramirez brings us their story.
Ever since I was a little girl, I would play with Hot Wheels and Tonkas. But as I got older, the cars got bigger. I got into lowriding through a boyfriend of mine. And that's how I ended up with Christine. I was helping him restore it. And then when he passed away, then I continued the project or the work. In doing that, it tied me into a whole culture.
I'm actually the first female in my family to have a lowrider. My dad, my uncles, my grandpa all grew up having old cars. With my dad having just girls, I was the one that was always next to my dad. It wasn't until recently that I was able to buy my own car and fix it up. My 14-year-old daughter wants her own car. She tells me this is going to be her car. It's a good feeling to show my daughter that just because she's a girl, that she's not limited to what she can do. She can do anything.
I started having some pop-up cruises where people bring their custom cars and you cruise up and down the boulevard. It's almost like a time capsule because a lot of them are classics. It's beautiful. The police finally caught wind of it and they came out in full force and started pulling cars over, impounding cars, having cars towed. At first I was trying to do it on my own. It was really stressful. And somebody suggested, hey, you need backup. Before I knew it, there was a group of us and we met and we said, let's come up with a name. And it just evolved from there. It's funny because the people that are the most active in the coalition and that do the most are the women.
We've been going back and forth about what the greater vision was going to look like. So we finally were able to agree on having this lowrider community forum for September the 9th.
I grew up in National City and I want to be able to see what I seen when I was little, is cruising down Highland, having my kids be able to cruise and see the cars on. It's a tradition.
How hard would it be to allow us to cruise? To us, it's a lifestyle, it's a way of life. all the stress, all the worries, everything goes away. You escape reality for a minute and you go to somewhere else.
To learn more about the lowrider community from photojournalist Ana Ramirez and reporter Tammy Murga, log on to San Diego Union-Tribune.com.
Coming up, how 20-year-old Fernando Valenzuela got his first big shot to shine on opening day more than 40 years ago.
And we'll bring you the story of a Salvadoran artist who made his childhood dream come true by becoming a Disney animator, when Nuestra Voz Today returns.
I am passionate about helping families. When COVID-19 reached San Diego, we knew that this was going to impact our community very deeply, and so we went to work right away. We've done at least 2 distributions of essential supplies every single month. We have provided rent relief, flexible financial assistance. We've done distributions of diapers. We've done distributions of COVID-19 kits and PPE. During a time where our community was struggling and really needed support, I was really grateful for the assistance and the partnership of the San Diego Union-Tribune. Not only did they help us to raise funds to be able to better serve our community, they reached out and offered to be a partner and really asked, how can we help? And we were able, in a matter of 6 months, to be able to distribute more than 20,000 COVID-19 safety kits. I'm grateful to live in a community that has been so responsive and so supportive.
Fernando Valenzuela broke camp in 1981 as the Dodgers' #3 starter. But when opening day pitcher Jerry Royce pulled a calf muscle, manager Tommy Lasorda tapped the unheralded 20-year-old rookie to replace him.
And Valenzuela went on to shut out the Houston Astros. LA Times columnist Gustavo Arellano explains how that was not only the first win of an amazing 8-0 start for Valenzuela, but it was also the start of Fernando Mania.
Tommy asked me if I can pitch. And I thought that was because Tommy loved to make jokes, and I say, no, it's not a joke, it's serious. So that's when I said, yeah, why not?
LA was the place in 1981. The city commemorated its bicentennial with birthday celebrations throughout the year. Tom Bradley was elected to his 3rd term as mayor, soundly defeating his old foe, former mayor Sam Yorty. A young musical provocateur named Prince was booed off the stage while opening for the Rolling Stones at the Coliseum. And for pro sports in LA, it was a golden age. The Rams appeared in the Super Bowl in 1980. The Dodgers were always competitive, and the Lakers were attempting to defend the NBA title they'd won the year before with a dazzling rookie named Magic Johnson.
The story has always been the Lakers, what they did, what they didn't do, how they failed, or if they were big. Every night there was a huge story of some sort. I arrived in a city where there is always a superstar. In fact, there were probably 20 of them. Vin Scully was. He wasn't even an athlete. Chick Hearn. There was always something going on here. That was the atmosphere. The Dodgers were beloved. The Lakers were beloved. The poor Clippers were kind of laughed at. UCLA basketball still had the remnants of John Wooden. This is heaven for a sports writer and a sports editor.
The 1980s, was the era of disco music, and for me, a bit of night clubbing and dancing. Dodger and Laker teams were, at the top of their game, if not winning championships per se. But at the end of the day, I think the world was focused on Fernando in 1981.
Fernando was different, and nobody had a Fernando, and nobody had ever seen a Fernando before.
20-year-old Fernando Valenzuela remade the image of baseball in Los Angeles. Valenzuela had tossed 17 2/3 scoreless innings in relief when he made his debut the previous September. But when the Dodgers broke camp in 1981, he was slotted in as the team's #3 starter.
When Fernando came up in 1980, nobody knew that it was going to be what was going to happen.
You didn't even know he was around in 1980, mainly because there were no expectations. Even in 1981, when camp broke and we went back to California for the Freeway Series, no one really thought that much about Fernando until that fateful day.
As I recall, Jerry Royce was to be the opening day pitcher, and he couldn't do it. He had a physical problem.
The day before opening day, I was in the outfield doing some running, and I felt my calf muscle pull. Now, I've had pulled calf muscles before, but I knew that this one was a little worse than the other ones previously. So I walked into the trainer's room, showed him what had happened, and he contacted Lasorda, and it was determined that I wouldn't be the opening day starter.
For some reason, they couldn't use Bert Hooton, who was basically their number 2 pitcher.
And Tommy had great confidence in Fernando, as he did in many young players. And he decided, along with the pitching coach, I think it was Ron Peronowski, give the ball to Fernando.
I threw a bullpen day before the opening day, and because I was, I think was going to pitch the 3rd game of the season. So Tommy asked me if I can pitch. And I was, first I thought that was because Tommy loved to make jokes, you know, and I say, no, they say, it's not a joke, it's serious. So that's when I said, yeah, why not?
No, he wasn't scared. He was happy that he gonna start the game, the opening day. He was scared, he never showed. It's something that I like on him. He don't show, he was never to the people.
Just like another regular day, I'm going, just prepare myself, and that's it.
It was amazing, and for myself and many others who were there, being Mexican, clearly this was something we were very proud of. I mean, I could still remember at the game that Fernando went to the 2nd inning, the 3rd inning, the 4th inning, and he kept on striking out. We were all very excited about it. I mean, obviously, and it was one of our countrymen.
He shut out the Astros, and I think he allowed only 5 hits, something like that. But then it's when really people realized that he was, for sure, a great pitcher. And Fernando conducted himself like he was a pitcher with 10 years of experience. People didn't believe that it was his first game as a starter in the major leagues.
The fans, they play a big role in that game, backing up Fernando, giving Fernando a great deal of support. And the way they received Fernando, when the Fernando came out to pitch, that was the most inspirational moment for Fernando in that day.
I was back in the Dominican, and because we went all through high school in the Dominican. So this is April, right? But my dad says, hey, that kid Fernando's gonna pitch. I'm like, next thing you know, we're watching highlights. There's Fernando just mowing them down.
Despite his opening day heroics, Valenzuela still enjoyed a degree of anonymity out of uniform, at least until he made his 2nd start.
When the game ended, we were waiting for him at the gates, and there's hundreds of fans cheering on. They're waiting for Garvey, Say, and the other Dodgers. Here comes Fernando, no one even, who's that? So he comes through, opened the gate, we got in the car and we left. Then he started the 2nd game. So by now they knew it was a guy that won the last game. And there's a little more talk about him, and he wins. Now we're waiting for him at the gate. The following time he started a game with the Dodgers, and now people are saying, that's Fernando.
They gave the ball to Fernando, and nobody looked back because it was shutout, 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 an extraordinary beginning to the 81 season. And I've often said that Fernando Mania, beginning on opening day right through the World Series, was the most exciting time on my watch.
It was like electrified the Mexican-American community. And all of a sudden, just after the first game, is that newspapers and everybody began to say, who is this young man?
He was obviously a star. He was somebody that was going to rock the world for a while, and he did for quite a while.
The Los Angeles Times is presenting Fernando Mania at 40, a video series that relives Fernando Valenzuela's incredible rookie season. To watch all of the installments of Fernando Mania at 40, log on to latimes.com/FernandoMania.
Still ahead, how a Disney animator draws on his Salvadoran childhood to design magical characters.
And meet the San Diego couple that named their newborn after Padres All-Star Fernando Tatis Jr. Nuestra Voz Today will be right back.
The search to solve our most pressing issues. How to endure, and how to be redeemed. The world is watching California, because California fights back, remembers where we're from, and defies those in our way. Los Angeles Times, the state of what's next.
Artist Jose Zelaya knew he wanted to work as a Disney animator since he was a child. Los Angeles Times photojournalist Steve Saldivar shows us how Zelaya draws on his Salvadorian background and experiences to create magical characters.
It's like writing. It's like writing a letter, you know, but with just lines, just placing with feelings. You put feelings and technique into it, and you get these characters that speak. I want to work for Mickey Mouse. I want to be an animator. I want to do something that is art related. I remember that my mom looked at me and said, "Hey, yes you will." I remember very clearly my mom told me, when you choose a career, choose something you love, because you're going to do it for the rest of your life. Cuando vine acá es lo que me ayudó a pues, hacer amistades, ¿no? También. Porque me acuerdo cuando yo vine a los Estados Unidos, me acuerdo que yo vine de allá, de un mundo donde yo era como que, estaba como de un tamaño acá, como igual que todos, ¿no? Que un poquito más alto y todo. No, vine a los Estados Unidos, todo el mundo era muchísimo más grande que yo. Y encima de eso eran pandilleros. Entonces yo estaba así como que, era un mundo como alien world para mí, ¿no? No me sabía comunicar. Una vez los pandilleros sabían que dibujaba y hacía sus nombres así como bien acá, como pieces, ¿no? Entonces me querían. Y me aceptaban y no tuve que meterme en ninguna pandilla ni nada de eso, porque pues me dejaban nomás el artista y todo. Siempre que me miraban cambiaban de expresión. A lo mejor estaba aquí, bien acá y todo. Y después cuando miraban, se ponían aquí, porque hay algo en el arte o en los dibujos que haces. Siempre notaba que era como magia. Entonces me inspiraba a mí para seguir produciendo estos dibujos que no eran los mejores, pero los hacía les ponía mucho empeño, ¿me entiendes? Y pues poder comunicarme de esa manera me salvó la vida. The good artwork is easy to love and enjoy and be like, look, I did this. There's something about the bad work too that is kinda, you can enjoy. So it's like a marker, or like it shows you how much you've been growing. So it's not even about what the artwork looks like, it's what the artwork is saying.
LA Times en Español reporter Sodi Jimenez also wrote about Jose Zelaya. You could read his entire story and watch the full video by logging on to latimes.com.
We're going to go from creating magical characters on the screen to cooking up delicious food on the streets of LA. LA Times food columnist Jen Harris shows us how an LA food truck makes the perfect golden flautas and tacos dorados.
Whichever one I'm eating is my favorite. This week, we are eating Los Dorados, which is a trailer that specializes in one thing, tacos dorados, which means golden tacos, which means fried tacos, which means delicious tacos. I learned about them from reading an article in LA Taco, which everybody should be reading. I went to check them out. I've been hooked ever since. This is them.
So we started Los Dorados in approximately July of 2019. And it just came from an idea that happened at a party, one of our baptisms. My father-in-law was making these flautas big charola, and I tried them for the first time, and I said, "Oh my God, we have to get this out." So I talked to him, see if we could use some of the recipes, and say, "Yeah, go for it, let's go." So we have four kinds of flautas. There's barbacoa, made traditionally Mexico City style. So that's steamed and roasted. Then we also have a chicken tinga, which is another traditional style of pulled chicken. We make that with chipotle and different onions and spices. We also have a potato flauta, which is just a plain flauta, plain potato flauta with different seasoning on the potato. And we also have a chorizo con papa flauta, which is a house-made chorizo. It's longaniza that we dry age for a little while, and we mix with potato, and we fill it into the flauta. So tortillas we make in-house, special tortilla for frying. Low moisture, gets really crunchy and flaky, really delicious for the flauta. So every flauta is topped with cream, salsa verde de guacamole, so it's a green salsa, kind of milder salsa. We also put a little bit of red salsa, which is our spicier salsa, just enough to get a little kick. And we top it all off with a little cotija cheese.
They come two to an order, covered in a really spicy red salsa, a tangy green salsa, and some crema. And I feel like they're as long as my arm. This one is a chicken tinga. So good. Has like a stewed, really moist chicken inside. All right, we got the potato. There's so much schmutz on this. Make sure that you ask for extra napkins. Potato tacos are amazing, but these flautas are so good because when you fry the potato inside, it almost gets this like creamy texture where it tastes like there's like cheese in it. So good. Barbacoa is actually lamb barbacoa, not beef. And it's similar to what you can find in Texcoco, which is a area about 15 miles east of Mexico City. The meat is super flavorful and still kind of like fatty. I don't think I could pick one that I like the most. I think you should just come and try all of them. Every single component of the flauta is key. I mean, not only does it obviously look really pretty, but it all contributes to the perfect bite. So you have the filling, which is either the stewed meat or the creamy, amazing potatoes. You have the perfect corn tortilla, which has this rich corn flavor. It like shatters perfectly with this delicate crunch. And then you have the salsas. So the red one, which gets kind of like just like this little streak, is on the hotter side. It has like this roasted chili flavor. Then you have the really tangy green salsa, which has the guacamole in it, which is so, so good. You have the crema, and then you have more cheese. It's all the best textures, it's all the best flavors. It's a perfect bite. Like 10 of them, all in one.
Oh, if you want to try out the delicious flautas and tacos dorados, you'll have to track them down on Instagram at Los Dorados LA. And for more food coverage, restaurant reviews, recipes, and the latest food news, check out latimes.com/food. Still ahead, the San Diego couple that named their baby after Padres superstar Fernando Tatis Jr. We'll continue celebrating our Hispanic heritage when Nuestra Voz Today returns. San Diegans accomplish great things every day. We care about our neighbors and our community. We are proud of our diversity. We are resilient. We hold our leaders accountable. We live in one of the most dynamic cities in America, the San Diego Union-Tribune, telling San Diego's story for more than 150 years.
Choosing a baby name isn't always easy.
One San Diego couple found inspiration watching their favorite baseball player during last year's playoffs. Here's San Diego Union-Tribune's Annie Halbrun with the story.
My name's Hope, this is Cody, and this is Ryan James, Tatis Church.
And we've been huge Padre fans our whole life and his whole life.
Well, at first he wanted Tatis to be the first name. And my mom said no. And then I said no as well, but then as it went on, I said maybe the middle name.
We decided we weren't gonna have it, and we picked out a name that was special to her because Ryan is her middle name, and then James is, you know, her grandfather's name. And so we were pretty set on, you know, just Ryan James Church. And then when it came down to birth time, you know, she had a doctor's appointment, and with COVID going on, I couldn't be there. So she was just there by herself. And they sent her over from just the doctor's office to like the women's center to get checked out. They had to monitor her for more, and they ended up keeping her and wanted to induce her labor, which was game 2, the wild card against the Cardinals. And so I'm sitting at home watching the game, and she's in the in the hospital room, the birthing room, watching the game on TV as well. When we started making our comeback, and she had texted me. Tatis was up with the bases loaded, and you know, this is after all of Slam Diego and everything, and she's like, oh man, like if he hits a grand slam right here, you know, we might have to throw his name in there. And I was just like, yeah, for real. Unfortunately, he didn't hit a grand slam then. You know, continued to watch the game, and then it got time for when I had to head to the hospital to be there with her. So I had to take it from TV to the radio and listen on the drive over there to, you know, for him to be born. And that's when Tatis hit, you know, a 3-run shot. Pretty sure that's when they went back to back. Machado hit one, and then, you know, 2 innings later he hit a 2-run shot. And I told her, I was like, hey, you know, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs is better than a grand slam in my book. Like, I think we got to throw the name in there. And we ended up coming back, winning that game. And we said we were going to do it. We were going to name him. We put it on the board that was going to be his name for the whole birthing plan. And then he wasn't born that day, but then we woke up, you know, watched game 3, we won, advanced to the next series. And maybe like an hour after that is when he was born, right after game 3. And we put it down on the birth certificate that Tatis was official.
Yep.
I posted a Snapchat, I believe, of the name, you know, and it was right after game 2 and everything. And I posted it. I had a lot of people were like, oh, you're really going to do it? Like, you should really do it. Like, it's really cool. I even remember one of my friends, you know, referring to the four grand slams, saying that we should name him like Fernando, Manuel, Will, Eric, or something, you know, like as in all 4. But no, yeah, nobody really against it. You know, everyone was pretty excited and were telling us to go for it, I'd say.
So when I was like pregnant, that's all we watched.
Yeah, you know,
like we would set alarms when I was pregnant because, you know, I wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, especially with COVID, you know, lockdown in the house and everything. So pretty much all we had to do was just look forward to Padre games and everything. Yeah. So.
What is it about Tatis that you wanted Ryan connected to him his entire life?
When I was pregnant, and we were just obsessed with him and his energy and his dedication to San Diego. And he's just so young. And I knew that he was going to be around for a while, and you know, he's just starting, so it's like he's right here, so we get to watch him all the time he gets to grow up.
You know, my dad and everyone had Gwynn, you know, and I had like Trevor Hoffman as that, you know, long time, you know, and now we get Tatis, we have Machado, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's like we've never really had multiple players at that level, you know, where we're gonna, that guy's gonna be a Padre for life now, like, and it's just so, it's so sick, like, and especially, you know, that we got to name him that, and then he did sign the contract, and just huge.
Do you hope he gets to meet Tatis one day and like be like, hey, this is...
Oh my gosh, yes.
This is little Tatis.
Yes.
Yep.
Named after you.
Named after you.
If you follow the Padres, you know Tatis' nickname is El Niño.
Well, then even more fitting for their little boy.
That's right. To read the full story by San Diego Union-Tribune sports reporter Annie Heilbrunn, go to SanDiegoUnion-Tribune.com. And before we go, we want to invite you to check out our comprehensive coverage of our Latino community in Los Angeles, San Diego, and Baja California. Just go to LATimes.com or SanDiegoUnion-Tribune.com and look for the Latino Live sections.
Also, in case you missed one of our previous Nuestra Voz Today episodes, you can watch them on SanDiegoUnion-Tribune.com. Just search Nuestra Voz Today.
That does it for this edition of Nuestra Voz Today.
Muchísimas gracias por su sintonía. Los esperamos para el próximo programa. Thank you for watching.